All right, welcome to Rent Free MMA. My name is Johnny, and I have a really special guest with me today. I have one half the battles podcast, Shaq. What's happening, man?
Thanks, man. Thanks for that introduction. I'm happy to be on the show. Super excited about this card. I think
Okay.
pretty much everyone's excited. I think everyone's excited about this card. Just I think that last card left some good tastes, some bad tastes in everyone's mouth. So
Yeah, it did.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there was a lot that was supposed to happen on that last card. I feel like it didn't play out the way that everybody had wanted it to. So yeah, definitely. And it was pretty hyped, that card as well. So but unfortunate for some, and some others were happy about it. So either way, we're gonna be breaking down UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Muhammad here. Um, Me personally, I'm not a big. I mean, from a betting perspective, I don't really see it. I'm gonna call it an anti-down card for me, just because I don't really see too many opportunities through my eyes. I don't know if that might be different for you. But from a fan's perspective, there's some bangers on here that I see that could be a really good some really good showdowns. From a fan's perspective, from a betting perspective, I'm gonna anti-down. What about you?
Yeah, man, I think there's a couple good opportunities possibly. But yeah, this is more of a, like what I like to call one of the up and comer cards. A lot of,
Right?
a lot of lesser known names, more prospects, a lot. You got some debutants in there, dudes making their return. So, this is definitely a lesser known card in terms of name value, but at the same time, I mean, there's some good hungry fighters on this card, so I'm excited.
Okay. All right. Well, without further ado, we're just gonna break the card down from the bottom all the way on up to the top. And for most of the prelims, we're gonna blaze through them, and then we'll take a little bit more time on the main card here. First fight of the night, it's gonna be Matthew Semmelsberger versus Jason Witt. I don't really know too much about either guy. I saw Jason Witt's debut. He got knocked out in like 20 seconds, so he looked kind of like an unathletic dude. He's a bit older on the and he debuted at 34, so he looks a little older. The other guy, Matthew Semmelsberger, don't really know much about him either, but at least he looks kind of athletic. So and he's a whole lot younger. For me, that's a no bet for me, just because I don't know enough about either guy. But however, if I were to pick, I'd probably pick the younger guy just based off of principles. What do you got for me here?
Yeah, I think you're thinking, the right path here. Jason Witt, yeah, he's more experienced, but Semmelsberger, he seems like the much more capable guy, at least the guy with the higher ceiling to me. He's definitely green, only has about less than 10 fights, but in my opinion, I think Witt's kind of a liability on the stand up. But like you said, he got knocked out by Sato, and it was on a 1 day notice, so we'll cut him some slack. But even in his other fights, his chin is a liability. He's a tough guy, and he can, kind of out experience some of these younger kids. So
Yeah,
we'll see if
he's
he
been
can do it
finished
again.
six
But
times.
exactly. So his chin is a big liability, man. And I think Simmelsberger has the power to to touch that chin. He dropped his last opponent. He knocked out his opponent previous to that. So he's a former football player. So we know he's got power. So I'm gonna go with Simmelsberger as well.
Okay, sure. Gloria DePaula versus Jinyu Fry. I know nothing of either chick. I think I've seen Jinyu Fry fight once. She looked okay in the first half, but then got finished by that one chick, the young chick. The odds on the new chick is negative 185. I haven't done any research on either girl, so you know anything about these two chicks?
Yeah, man. I think this could be a good opportunity with DePaula here. Jinu Fry, I feel like she's had her time, and she's kind of on the tail end of her career. I think she's about 35, 36, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, yeah,
She
it's
was
like
actually the former Invicta champion, but I just think that kind of like Father Time has caught up with her a little bit. She's not as hungry as she once was. I mean, her last two fights against, like you said, the young chick Kay Hansen, who was 20 years old, a very green opponent, and then she fought Luke Boomy, who's also very green, maybe like 5, 6, 7 fights. So now, in my opinion, she on paper she's fighting someone with similar experience, but in my opinion, skill wise, I think DePaula might be more well rounded than both of those girls. So I think DePaula is going to come out here and just kind of be similar to Jin's prior two fights, where she's getting pushed back. The other opponent is much more aggressive and just outworking her. There's a big age gap in between these two, and I just feel like DePaula, her girlfriend's actually Myra Bueno Silva, who fought here recently, not too long ago. So I feel like this is a good spot for DePaula to have a good debut. So she'll get the win here.
Okay, I'll probably take a quick look at that. Maybe a quick look at some tape on her and maybe base my decision off of that. Closer to fight day. JJ Aldridge versus Courtney Casey. Aldridge is negative 150. I think the odds should be negative 110 apiece. I think both these girls make a lot of mistakes in there. However, if I were to pick, I'm gonna go with JJ Aldridge just because I think she's probably the better boxer here. Casey's got probably more aggression and probably a lot more power and for sure has the better chin and more durability. But she's super duper slow, really flat-footed, and I just think Aldridge's straight shots are gonna just land more, and then maybe she might be able to kind of circle out and maybe win 2 out of 3 rounds possibly. But they're kind of, I mean, lower level WMMA. I'm not gonna play it. But if I were to pick, I'll go with JJ Aldridge just by throwing straighter shots and just moving out the way. That's about it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I agree. It probably should be closer to a pick'em. I've never really been too high on Courtney Casey, man. I think she's very flaky. JJ Aldridge, on the other hand, I mean, I feel like she hasn't lost to anyone that I thought she wasn't gonna lose to. So I'm gonna go with her. Courtney Casey is just her takedown defense is terrible. Like you said, she's very flat-footed. Definitely can hit. Definitely has power. It's just very flat-footed. She's talking about going up to 135. I feel like she's getting heavier. A little slower, plottier. So yeah, I can see JJ. One thing about JJ, if she's got anything going for her, is that left hand. So yeah, I agree. I'll go with JJ Aldridge.
Okay. Uh, I'm not sure if the order is correct, but I'm going off of best fight odds, and the next fight says Rafa Garcia versus Nasrat Hakparas. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow, this is a really good fight. I don't know why it's so low in the card, but anyways, Nasrat Hakparas versus Rafa Garcia. Garcia is making his debut from Combate. He's an undefeated, pretty good prospect, really hooky dude. But making his debut against Nasrat Hakparas, that's a tall order, and it shows here in the odds is negative 360 for Hakparas, and Garcia's plus 300 here. I love Nasrat, super fast striker. He's got super duper fast hands. He's pretty well rounded. I can't really bet against him, especially on a guy making his debut. But Garcia's a pretty dangerous dude. He's got some good submissions in there. But all he's really got is just that overhand right. He's just got one right hand, and that's kind of pretty much all he has as far as the striking realm goes. So I expect Hack Press to outspeed him, box him up, and give him his first L here. But Garcia's not a bad fighter though, so he's just debuting against the wrong guy here. So what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But I honestly think this is a mismatch, man. I think that Rafa Garcia, unfortunately, is gonna have a very rude welcoming to the UFC. I just think it's too much for a guy like him to fight Hagparas right now in his career. I honestly don't think his potential is even all that good. Seems like a tough kid, but I feel like his level in combate is very, very low. And Hagparas has already been in there with the likes of Joaquim Silva, Drew Dober. I mean, he's been in there with some good guys. So I think this is a mismatch. I think he actually knocks Rafa Garcia out probably
Okay.
quickly.
Okay. What are the odds on that? Is there odds? They just came out with the props right now. Let's see, the odds on that is okay.
It's
It's
plus one. Yeah.
125 that's decent. Okay. Yeah, same. I concur. So, but should be an exciting fight though. So we got Honey Yaya versus Ray Rodriguez. I haven't seen too much of Ray Rodriguez. I've seen him in a couple losses. Didn't look too impressive. We know who Ronnie Yaya is. He's a beast in the first half of the fight. 7.5 minutes. When it comes down to the grappling, this guy is a fucking octopus. So he grabs a hold of your limbs. He's not letting go. So the only issue that with that style is actually to a fault to where like he'll grab onto something and he tries his darnest to fucking go for the finish and things like that. And if he doesn't get the finish, gasses himself out and gets beat up by people who shouldn't be beating him up. So negative 280. That's a hard pass for me just because I don't like betting on Rani Yaya at that high of a price just with that glaring hole in his game. But he should roll here. He should win. He's probably gonna get the submission here too. But not gonna bet on those odds. So
Yeah, yeah, man, I agree because it's like it's one of those things where we know who the better fighter is. We know, in terms of pedigree, Ray Rodriguez can't even, you know, his name shouldn't even be spoken in sentences with Hani Yaya. It's just Hani Yaya. When he gets tired, things can fall apart very quickly. Just like they did when his last fight. That grappling, it takes a lot of energy out of you, and he might be able to control you for 2 rounds, but his one bad round is it's very bad. And when you look at his history, he kind of has lost to some guys that kind of no name guys, like whether it be Tom Ninamaki or Joe. So I'm not saying Joe Soto's a no name guy, but he's currently not in the UFC. Um, but he has kind of stumbled up in spots where he should have won. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Hani Ray Rodriguez. I mean, as far as grappling is concerned, he does have a win over Jimmy Flick, who's a good submission artist. So he has had experience against this style. It's just his last couple fights. I mean, just look at the mistakes made on the ground. It's hard to trust him. But I think there's a chance he could, he is big enough to make. If he can survive and get to that late second, third round, who knows, man? Maybe he could turn into a live dog. But I'll go with Hani Yaya.
yeah. Uh, Charles Jourdain versus Marcelo Rojo. This one should. This was going to be fireworks. I mean, as of most Charles Jourdain's fights are. I think they should just keep throwing strikers at Jourdain and just have him go at it because it makes for an exciting fight.
Yeah.
And this guy's coming to kill. And I didn't really know too much about Rojo, but I did see clips of him knocking out some dude and like pretending to be like a raptor or something. I think it went viral because of that shit. But just seeing him strike, he looks like a very dangerous dude. He's coming in for the kill as well. I think most of his fights are finishes, including himself. He gets tapped out and finished himself. Um, looks like a okay fighter. Looks like an action fighter. I wouldn't say he's like the best dude. I mean, he's not. I mean, he can get knocked out himself too. So uh, I just expect this fight to be like an all-around banger, and they're just gonna go after it. And I'm gonna pick Jourdain based off experience and fighting some pretty damn good competition just from the jump even when he got signed. And I mean the guy can fight both stances. He's got some vicious head kicks. He's got some pretty man. I like it. His fight style is really really fun. The only issue is that I mean like he shouldn't be negative 255 here. I think he's too young. I mean, like that number alone is just based off of the experience he's had, fighting against the likes of Feely and Duo Choi and things like that. I do expect him to roll here, and I like him a lot here. But I wouldn't pay for that price at negative 255. I mean, he almost lost that fight against oh boy, the Filipino cat. Forget his name. But yeah, I mean,
Culibao.
yeah, Culibao, yeah, and so I wouldn't trust him at this line. But I do expect it to be a fun fight, and I expect him to possibly even get the KO. The KO is actually at plus 175. I might even fuck around and play with that. I think most of Rojo's losses are by submission too. So maybe you might throw a little flyer on Jourdain by submission, but I don't know, man. The line's too long for me. Fun fight though. Very fun
Yeah,
fight.
I I feel like Charles Jourdain, man, this is a little bit of recency bias, and I feel like it's misled. I feel like he's getting a bad reputation. He has a bad reputation coming into this week because of the Kulabau fight, because he was a heavy favorite in that fight, and he wasn't able to get the win. It was a draw.
A lot of people were
But at the
disappointed,
same,
right?
a lot of people were disappointed. He definitely let a lot of people down. But at the same time, Josh Kulabau, when you look at his record, I mean, he only had one loss to Jalen Turner, which, I mean,
On,
look, you got a
on short
basketball
notice.
fight against on short notice. So I think that, yeah, we were just because he got completely dominated by Jalen Turner, that everyone was expecting Jourdain to do the same thing, but he's not. He's not the same specimen as a Jalen Turner. He's not as tall. He doesn't hit as hard. So I think it it was just a very misleading line. I mean, like Josh Gulaba only has one loss as far as I'm concerned. So I honestly think that. I mean, it was a good, tough fight that I'm sure he learned from. He's been in there with Philly. He's been in there with Choi. He's been in there with Des Green. This guy Rojo, I'm not convinced he's ready for the UFC yet. I'm sure he's a tough guy. Yeah, he's paid his dues, but that Combate America scene, it's very sloppy. And I know
Yeah.
Jourdain, Jourdain, like I said, let a lot of people down, but I think his experience is really going to carry him to a win here, especially in the late rounds. I think he's going to overwhelm this guy with his pace. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Air Jourdain as well.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, there's a prop that I kind of want to snipe as well. I mean, if you have access to props, I kind of want to take him by third round finish. I can see them just going after it, and then eventually just you know, big shots are gonna land, and Jordan gets to like a third round knockout. That's like plus 925. Do you think there's gonna be a finisher, or do you think it could go all three?
Man, Jourdain, he likes to finish. He
Yeah.
finished Duo Choi. When he wins, it's usually a finish. So yeah, I actually do.
Okay. Same. I agree. I might play. I might play that, because I don't feel happy about playing a negative 255 line on Jordan. But man, yeah, I like him a lot. He's looked great in most of his fights so far. So, like, very excited to see him fight again. So, Ashley Yoder versus Angela Hill. This is the rematch. Angela Hill is 380. Fuck out of here with that shit. You can miss me with that shit. What am I gonna say? What are you gonna do? Like, what the fuck can you?
Yeah,
I don't even want to break this fight down because, like, what's the point? Like, what are you gonna play? You either
it's
gonna play Yoder
well,
or
yeah,
not.
yeah. It's really like, well, the thing is, it's not that because I mean, there's people that are confident in their Angela Hill parlay legs, and look, I'm not saying she's gonna lose. She probably will win. She already beat her before, so look, she's
Was
got
it
that
was
going
the first
for
fight
her.
competitive? I don't even remember the first fight. Was it competitive?
No, I mean, like it would be competitive for a few minutes, and then Hill would just, kind of solidify the rounds towards the end. Um, but look, Hill's definitely the better fighter. But one thing we have to say about Ashley Yoder is she's very durable. She's very tough. She's never been finished. And although she has a losing UFC record, I mean, it's not like she got her ass beat in those fights. Pretty much all of the losses are by split decision. Randa Marcos, who finished Angela Hill. Mackenzie Dern split decision. I mean, she's in most of these fights. It's just, she kind of lets herself down
Super
when
low IQ. One of the lowest
yeah,
IQ fighters that I know.
exactly. She'll take the
Yoder.
back and slip off, and she loves slipping off that back. So that's her issue. But I do think she has the skills, at least with her range, her length. She is one of the taller girls in that division. To frustrate Angela a little bit, I feel like Angela Hill is severely overrated, man. I think she has made some improvements from her first UFC stint, but at the same time, I feel like she's got some bad habits, and those bad habits are just her ego. She thinks that she's on a 7 fight win streak, which is completely delusional. And she's a gasser in my opinion. She likes to start in all these fights that she loses, she comes out and she wins the first round, whether it was Chow Nan or Karate Heidi, Claudia Gadelia, whatever it was, and she loses the last one. She loses the round that counts. So look, yeah, I acknowledge she's a better fighter, and like I said, she already beat Yoder before, so she will be my pick to win. But minus 380, man, we'll see. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on her to perform at that line.
Okay. So that about wraps up the fight night prelims. Just to kind of recap, what were your picks on the prelims, and yeah, what were your picks on the prelims here, and what do you plan on playing?
Man, I like De Paula, man. I think De Paula should roll. I think it's a good line. Jinu Frey, like for the things I said earlier, just seems like that fighting spirit isn't there anymore. I think she's on the tail end of her career, accomplished, whatever she needed to accomplish. So I think De Paula is the better fighter in every aspect. So yeah, De Paula is a pick. Semmelsberger, we'll see. He is a young kid. He's an option, but we'll see.
Okay, for me, man, I mean, I wanted to play the three guys, Jordan, Yaya, and Nasrat, but they're way too expensive for me. I'll probably play some type of prop just to kind of try to squeeze out some type of value, but there's not really much value on the prelims for me, so I can't really say that I have too many picks on this one. But like I said, we're gonna wrap up the prelims. In the next video, we're gonna do the main card, and stay tuned for that. And after the main card, we're just gonna give you a bit of a mini preview on the next fight night, and we'll just do it'll be a really quick one. So I'll catch you guys on the next card here, on the main card here.